Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, January 10th. Mild weather pattern continues here in the Mid-Atlantic region. It'll culminate this weekend with spring fever alert on Saturday and Sunday as temperatures soar both days, probably Sunday being the warmest day with temperatures easily in the 60s across the Washington, D.C. area, perhaps 60 or above, even in Philadelphia, and well up in the 50s across the New York City region. We slowly taper off in that mild pattern early next week, and it definitely gets colder by the middle or latter part of next week as some big changes are coming, but not before a very unseasonably mild weekend here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Let's take a look at the latest surface map. High pressure dominates much of the country, in the eastern third of the country anyway. Here's high situated here over western Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio. The main action right now, precipitation-wise, is again down in the deep south where they have some heavy rain and some possible severe weather as well. Louisiana is just in a deluge right now, getting some heavy rain and strong thunderstorms. Some of that rain is spilling up into the upper part of the Midwest, and that'll gradually work its way to the east. It'll weaken quite a bit by the time it reaches the East Coast tomorrow, but there can be some light rain or drizzle at times, really from late tonight through tomorrow night here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Then come Saturday morning, there'll be some clouds, maybe some fog around. But once that gives way to some sunshine, by Saturday afternoon, temperatures will then soar well up into the 50s, perhaps even the 60s on Saturday, and definitely the 60s in a good chunk of the Mid-Atlantic region on Sunday. Meanwhile, out west, one more nice day temperature-wise here in the Central Rockies. Denver, for example, could reach the mid-50s, but a big change is coming there by tomorrow. Arctic cold will spill into the Rockies overnight tonight, and tomorrow they'll have trouble getting above the freezing mark. Much colder air moving in already this morning along the west coast. Southern California will experience the coldest air of the season so far, and by early Saturday morning there could be some damaging frost in some of the coastal valleys out here along the west coast in Southern California, Central California, as again the cold air first makes its appearance back out in the west and then the Central Rockies over the next 24 to 48 hours. Here's the latest infrared satellite loop from the SSEC Wisconsin website. Quite a healthy looking system here down in the deep south and Gulf of Mexico. Heavy rain from eastern Texas right throughout the state of Louisiana, and there are some strong thunderstorms, even the slight chance of some severe weather later on today. That rain is spilling up over the Midwest, and some of that will move into the eastern part of the country tomorrow, albeit in a weaker form. Quite a bit of clouds here over the western half of the nation. Cold air is pouring down, and you can kind of see these low clouds here off the coast here, indicative of cold air over the Pacific Ocean here. Cold air pouring down into Southern California. Again, the coldest air of the season headed that way for the next 48 hours or so. By Saturday morning, there could be some frost throughout many of the coastal valleys. Denver, Colorado will plunge in temperatures from the mid-50s today to perhaps only highs near 30 or 32 degrees tomorrow, and that could be accompanied by some snow. The cold air is returning first to the west and central part of the country. It'll reach the east by the middle or latter part of next week. Well, here's a close-up of the south central part of the country where the heaviest rain is falling right now. Again, a kind of a line of strong thunderstorms here, not too far from New Orleans region and eastern part of Louisiana. Heavy rain fell throughout this region yesterday with a few inches, and another few inches are likely today from Louisiana into Mississippi and Alabama. A lot of this precipitation will move toward the east coast by tomorrow, albeit in a weaker form. We will have some light rain or drizzle anytime from late tomorrow night through late tonight through tomorrow night here along the I-95 corridor. Well, let's take a look at a couple of computer forecast maps. This is from last night's Zero-Z GFS model run for Friday morning. By this time, all that precipitation that is now falling over the southern part of the country kind of moves to the north and east here. A lot of precipitation headed to the Midwest, and some of it spilling over into the Mid-Atlantic region during the day tomorrow. The high pressure is retreating by this time, moving back up to the north and east, but there's still a little bit cold air that'll be trapped in some of the valleys. There could even be a little bit of freezing rain early tomorrow in interior northeastern Pennsylvania in the highest elevations, for example. But just some light rain and drizzle expected here along the I-95 corridor right in this region right here. Not a heavy rain event, but it'll be a damp, cool, cloudy day. And the clouds and the occasional light rain will hold temperatures down into the upper 40s across Philadelphia, maybe the lower 50s in the Washington, D.C. area, and generally in the mid-40s across New York City. The warmer air is just to the south and west, poised to pour into the mid-Atlantic region, the I-95 corridor on Saturday. And let's now jump ahead to the Saturday morning forecast map. And here it is. By this time you can see this red line here has advanced to the north and east. High pressure off the coast, southwest flow behind it. We may start off with some clouds, maybe some fog, and a little bit of drizzle early Saturday morning from D.C. to Philly, Baltimore, and New York City. But once that burns off, the temperatures will really jump well up into the 50s across Philadelphia, maybe 60 plus in the D.C. area. And Sunday looks even warmer than that, as we will continue to bask in this mild air for much of the weekend, right into the early part of next week. Let's now jump ahead to Sunday morning. Here's the forecast map for Sunday morning from last night's GFS model run. Notice this red line, kind of where the real mild air is, all the way up into New England. Sunday will probably be the warmest day of all up and down the East Coast. Now here's the transition starting to show up here. Here's quite an area of precipitation here, mostly in the form of rain out in the Midwest. But the colder air is starting to make its way felt. It will certainly be bitter cold by this time already out in the Rockies and the Central Plains. But the cold air is slowly working its way to the south and east. And big changes are in store here come Wednesday night and Thursday of next week, as we return to a much colder pattern after an unseasonably mild weekend. And we'll update all of this over the next couple of days. That's it for now. I'm the SI meteorologist, Paul Dorian.